Welcome back. Today we're going to do something really cool. We're building your very first interactive program. And by the end of this, you're going to have this complete toolbox of Python fundamentals, which will let you create code that can listen, measure, and even remember things. So you ready to get started? And I mean really talk back. We're not just talking about having it spit out some text on the screen. No, we're going to build a program that can actually ask you a question, listen to your answer, and then do something with it. We're going to build a program that can have a real conversation. So where do we even begin? Well, we'll start with the classic hello world, but we're going to add a little twist. We're going to make the computer say hello to you using your actual name. And you know the best part? We're going to do all of this in a single, super powerful line of code. Okay, take a look at this. This one line of code has everything we need to kick off a conversation. You can see it's got a greeting, it has a question for the user, and it's got the instructions to glue it all together. Now, I know it might look a little intimidating at first glance, but trust me, let's break down exactly how Python reads this. Here's a little secret about how Python thinks. It works from the inside out. So the first thing it sees is that input function right in the middle. It prints what is named to the screen, and then it just stops and waits for you. So you type your name, let's say it's Maria, and you hit enter. That input function then hands Maria back to the main line. The code now basically sees print hello plus Maria. It smashes those two pieces of text together, and boom, it displays our friendly greeting. Simple as that. And just like that, we've got the very first tool for our toolbox, the input function. You can think of this as giving your program ears. It's how you let it actually listen to the user. It's the bridge that connects your code to the person running it. The really key thing to remember about input is that it does two jobs. First, it shows the user the prompt you write, and then it waits and captures their response as a string, which is just Python's fancy word for a piece of text. It's literally the ears of your program. Okay, so our program can say hello. That's a great start. But what if we want to do more? What if we want to, I don't know, count the number of letters in the user's name? In our last example, the name Maria was used for a split second and then completely forgotten. We need a way to not just hear the data, but to actually do something with it. And this brings us to the second tool in our toolbox. If input gives our program ears to listen, then the len function, well, it gives it a ruler. This is how we can start to measure the data we're getting. The len function is one of my favorites because it's so simple but so incredibly powerful. You just give it a string of text and it tells you exactly how many characters are in it. And that includes spaces, punctuation, all of it. It's an absolutely essential tool for working with text in Python. So can we combine our two new tools to get a name and print its length all at once? Yeah, absolutely. We can just nest the functions inside each other just like we did before. But, it's starting to look a little crowded in there, isn't it? And we're seeing that same inside-out logic again. Python dives into the very middle and starts with the input function. You type Alex. Then Python takes that text and immediately hands it off to the len function, which measures it and says, hey, that's 4 characters long. Finally, the print function on the outside takes that number 4 and displays it on the screen. So yeah, the program works, but we've got a big problem. We've figured out the length of the name, but in the process, we've lost the name itself. The name Alex was used for one tiny calculation and then, poof, it was thrown away. For any program that's more complex than a single line, this just isn't going to work. So how do we solve this? With our third and honestly our most powerful tool yet. It's time to give our program a memory. And we do that with something called variables. I want you to think of a variable as just a labeled box. That's it. You can put something inside it, like the user's name. And then whenever you need that piece of data later on, you just call the box by its label. This is the real secret to writing clean, organized, and powerful code. This slide shows it perfectly. We've got a container, or a box, labeled name, and inside it, we've stored the text coding blog. And we have another container, labeled length, that's holding the number 10. By giving our data these simple labels, we can easily find it and use it whenever we want. And just look at the difference this makes. It's night and day, right? On the left, you've got that messy, nested line of code we started with. But on the right, you have clean, readable code that uses variables. Every single step has its own line, and you can see immediately what's happening. This is how you write code that's easy to read, easy to understand, and easy to build on later. So there we have it, our complete toolbox. We've got input to listen, len to measure, and variables to remember. Now let's put it all together and see our final, polished program in action.
The flow is so much more logical now, isn't it? First, the program asks for a name, and it stores the answer in that name variable, that name box. Then it uses what's inside the name box to calculate the length, and it stores that result in a second variable called length. Finally, it just prints whatever value it finds inside that length box. Each step is separate, it's clear, and it's so much easier to follow.
So why does this matter so much? Because it makes our code better in 3 really important ways. First, it's readable. Anyone can look at this and get the logic. Second, it's reusable. If we wanted to print a message like, "Hello, Sarah," we totally can because we saved the name. And finally, it's just plain powerful. We haven't lost any information, we've captured it, we've organized it, and it's ready for whatever we want to do next. And there you have it. In just a few minutes, you've learned the 3 core components of pretty much any interactive program. You can get input from a user, you can analyze it, and you can store it for later. These 3 tools, they are the foundation for building almost anything you can imagine. So, the only question left is, what are you going to build next?